Courtney, you look like you had other points you wanted to make.
Oh, I just wanted to, going back to the time jumping thing. If I were acting in the show, I would like to do a run of piecing the script together in a linear fashion and see what could be discovered going through the story that way.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Sure.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I like that. That's creative. I like that. I feel like everyone was just like, ooh.
Because
One more time. Let's read it again.
I think we forget because it's so segmented, and now we're 8, and now we're whatever 23 and 38 and whatever, that we forget that there's an actual arc in this, and it's worth going through and discovering that.
Yeah, I like that.
Great, let's start the reading over, doing that right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna say goodnight.
Yes, we're going.
So great. Sorry about the mishap. I'm so embarrassed.
Oh no, it was wonderful. No mishaps.
It happened.
Is it really a meeting in 2020 if somebody doesn't have a Zoom mishap? Like,
Let's have it fixed by next year, all right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, guys. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving first.
Thanksgiving.
It's been great.
I wish we were having a Christmas party this year, next year.
wait, can we have
something on Zoom?
Yeah, we could have like a Zoom happy hour.
Let's do that. All right, that's
that'd be cool.
all right.
Bye.
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 Be great.
Good luck.
All right, bye, guys.
Hello. Bye.
I love them.
They're my faves.
Ethan had a question here that in regards to the jumps. Why do you think the playwright does such specific time jumps in the lives of his characters? So why do you choose these moments? Anais?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, that just jumped to mind like real quick. Yeah, to me it's an easy answer. They're just really significant times, like it's really significant ages in people's lives, because you have like, it's like kind of going through the up to middle age, essentially, like life cycle, where you have like, okay, it's like, okay,
middle age.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
I said
I
up
was
to,
like,
like
what?
you're staring down the barrel of like 40 at that point, and it's like, you know, I'm just saying, like, it's
No,
I'm not
you're
there.
okay.
True. It's true.
There's no judgment, there's no value judgment there. It is what it is, you know, like you ain't like 19 anymore. Like that's just, you know.
Thank God.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But like, yeah, I mean, I thought like 8 years old is kind of an interesting age too, because you are really starting to develop your own like preferences in a very real way, and you have your own personality, and you have your own secrets, and you have your own baggage by 8 years old. That's the thing. Like, you have your own shit. Can I swear? Sorry, I don't know. But like you have your own, I don't know if this is like a clean, you're gonna get demonetized. Like, I don't know.
It's over. Damn, I can never monetize any of these.
No.
No, go ahead.
But you have your own bullshit at 8 years old already. And you know, by the time by the time
Already done. So.
It's done. It's done. Go ahead.
But it's true. But you have your own stuff at 8 years old, and like you definitely have your own stuff at like 13, and you absolutely have your own stuff at 18, and it just kind of like, but in a different way, in a very different way. Like the middle school dance, like, man, that is a really specific time and place, and I have never been more miserable or more hopeful than I have been at middle school dances.
Such a good way of putting that age and that
it's true.
Very specific thing, that dance.
It's true. It's a flashpoint memory.
Yeah, it's a very specific thing that anyone can relate to, and I feel like
absolutely
points that they go back to, like just like you're saying, there's such specific moments in turns of age type moments that literally anyone can relate to. Everyone remembers what it was like being between the ages of 8 and 10, running around in recess and trying to figure out which group you fit in, being at 13 thinking you got it all figured out. Like, these are very specific moments that literally everyone can relate to. So I 100% agree with, and I love the way you put it. But I agree with that.
I mean, to get even more detailed, I mean, there are pinnacle moments. Like the first scene is their first meeting, like fate. Then you have the death of a parent, which is a big pinnacle thing. I haven't gone through it yet. Then you have first kiss. You have losing your virginity. You have a coma. Like they are literally like pinnacle moments that you can remember. I mean, maybe not a coma, but like
permanent disability.
You did remember her though.
Yeah, like I remember my first kiss. I remember losing my virginity and then like telling my friends, and like it's a very those are moments that are super important, but they're also landmarks in the age. I mean, they're like, I mean, it just helps drive the point that we're all agreeing on as well. And it's just, yeah, I think I didn't realize that until I was like looking back. I was like, no, these are like big moments.
Well, and laying it out like that, Tyler, when you're saying, yeah, realizing that those are the scenes, we can all relate to those being big moments in our own lives. But was I personally, the same person wasn't nearby in all of those events where I could go and at least tell them about it or share that moment with them or whatever. And these two happen to be, you know, dad dies and he comes from out of the blue. She hears he's in a coma. She comes from out of the blue. Like they kind of, those are the moments that they're brought back together again. And so I think that is something that's kind of special or unique about the relationship, whether it's romantic or soulmates or whatever. There's just the fact that like how far apart they get, these kind of moments bring them back into each other's lives at such key points. And I think we've established now, I might take more look at details, but I think these are more or less the only, they're crossings, like they're 8 or 9 moments of actually like being together alone and having a conversation, maybe other group scenarios or something, but it sounds like they kind of disappear and come back together for these big moments.
Yeah.
For 30 years.
I would think that because they go to school together, because they've mentioned that he doesn't want to be in the same room alone with her dad or have a conversation, that they've hung out more than these.
Maybe high school or something, right? But like after that.
Yeah.
Like, where have you been? College, I've been trying to find you. But probably middle school, high school together.
Yeah, this was definitely before Facebook.
Absolutely.
Or any of the cell phones or media. Even though it was produced first in 2009 and then 2011.
But even that was like very beginning.
Yeah, like
Facebook was used to poke people.
Yeah.
Like
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I got Facebook back in 2006. So it's
2006 you needed a college email. So in the world, if Kayleen hadn't gone to college like he had, which I think is alluded to in the play, she stayed home, whether she went to community or didn't go, she was working as a waitress. She probably couldn't join
Mm.
the internet in the same way.
You're not allowed.
Something
I feel like that kind of happens naturally, right? When you graduate high school and you kind of lose touch, you know. And I think that it's kind of like what Jacob you're saying. It's like they kind of flittered away, but at these very pivotal moments seem to find their way back to each other. And it's really interesting that these two are able to do that when normally most people don't. Like once you lose contact or lose touch, it's kind of like, okay, well, see you at the 10-year high school reunion, maybe, you know. But these two seem to like still be able to, or still connected. They still have that string pulling at one another. So it's really interesting.
And did you have something to say?
Oh, nothing important. I was just speculating on if somebody like.
Yes, all important.
Well, I was just speculating on if somebody like Kayleen would even have social media. She seems like she'd be too like not into it. Maybe a little bit above it, yeah.
Yeah.
She's definitely on Reddit.
Yeah. Definitely.
I would say more Tumblr than Reddit.
I love how that made sense. Like we're just like platform personality. Got it. It's awesome.
Courtney?
Oh, God, I'm trying to find how I got to this point, but I think the time jumps are also when you don't see somebody because you are a totally different person. Like middle school and high school feels like a totally different life. We were around totally different people at the time, and maybe some of them managed to stay, but who I am and what I'm doing now is completely different from who I was back then. So seeing somebody from that specific moment, or in this case, moments from your life, is so strange in that you simultaneously recognize how much you've changed. But then when you're with that person, I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but when I see a friend from high school and we get together, it feels like no time has passed at all. And I kind of
Absolutely.
I almost not regress, I don't want to use that word, but I fall into old speaking patterns of who I was around that person. And there's a formality of, oh, how have you been? I haven't seen you in so many years. But then there's also like, oh yeah, like we used to talk shit in the back row of Spanish class together, and like we're totally comfortable with each other, like, and it's so strange how that coexists.
Yeah. Interesting. And I think about like my first boyfriend. I had my first boyfriend when I was 15, and like 15 turning 14 turning 15. It was like right in the summer where I was turning 15, I think. Anyway, he was amazing, but we stayed together for like a year or so, which is a long time for a 14, 15-year-old to like be with anybody. But then we broke up. I was so devastated. And then it felt like we kept in touch, but we didn't keep in touch. And then like my best friend was still friendly with him. So I would see him sometimes, years would pass. And then like somehow we'd be like out getting beers together, or like at a party together when we were in college, like at mutual friends' houses, but we hadn't stayed in touch for that passage of time. But then we would like reconnect, and I'd be like, oh my God, and like be right back in it, where I'm like a psycho. And then, nothing would happen because I wouldn't say anything, and like who knows if he felt the same way or not, and if he wouldn't say anything, and then more passage of time, and then there'd be like another weird moment in history, and then I'd fixate on that for like the next 5 years until you saw him again, right? Am I the only one that's done that? Anyway, man, it's
I think that can happen with an ex. Like you automatically go back to the relationship you guys had, and like, this person changed. Could we be back together? You know what I mean? I think you can go through that. For me, with these time jumps, I just thought it was funny that she was dropping everything to go see him in the hospital, or anytime they were hurt, they were able to really just find each other. These, I don't, because like, I don't know if I would go and visit an ex in a hospital randomly after not seeing them for a while. Oh, Tyler's like, I heard it. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people would be like, just stop everything and go see the.
Or in this world, how they're just so disconnected, or like can't contact each other for years, but knew that they were in the hospital.
Yeah. I think
how
that's
does one find out? Or which hospital? Like, how do you even know where you go?
Right.
I always feel like his mom talks to her. I don't know. I think it's something like that. That's the only thing I can think of.
Like his mom
they definitely see each other in the grocery store, and the mom like chats her ear off for sure.
Yeah.
He's doing so well, but he could use you. Wow.
Oh, he's in a coma.
Coma.
Why don't you go and see him?
A coma.
Yeah, that's
I read his journal from when he was 13. You should visit him.
Yeah.
Basically.
We'd like
Now
to
I'm
see it.
curious.
Oh,
Right.
that long-suffering mother.
Let's see what else he got. So the specific injuries, what do you think they represent? The specific injury each character had. The taking of the eye, the stomach cuts. Did she try to rip out her stomach?
Yeah, it says she tries to cut out her stomach. It's also interesting that later she also says that her mom died of a stomach issue. Like of a stomach injury.
What are we feeling these injuries represent?
I think that the eye is a gimme. I think the eye represents like his own short-sightedness.
Like it. I like it.
That's good.
I think him in a wheelchair, not being able to move. I mean, he talks about loving seeing the kids move, seeing them on the ice rink, playing hockey. I think it's the I don't really know, honestly. The possibly like longing to be a kid again, to be free and reckless. Because I think he says a lot about the ice and how it's his favorite time is like the last time when it's like the most pristine. Because then once another kid gets on there go the cuts again, and it's like scraping it up again. But this time you can just wash it away. So I think it's just a matter of him not missing youth, but missing the carefree nature that he initially had.
Well,
Maybe.
It's interesting to that because he describes the kids as flying around the ice and how he doesn't fly anymore. But when they first meet, he talks about like driving his bike off the roof because he wanted to fly, you know?
There we go.
So that's like a full circle. And then I think it's interesting, her injuries deal a lot with her stomach and she throws up. And you wonder if she had bulimia or something, you know, because in one sentence she says, I'm fat, almost out of nowhere.
Right.
Actually, totally out of nowhere.
Yeah. And she keeps going back to it and wanting to get better. And then she hates herself. Like, you know, she's throwing up all the time, which isn't really discussed, but isn't. And then she cuts herself. Like she definitely hates herself in a lot of ways.
Yeah, her scars are more, I mean, while they can be physical, hers are way more internal than his are. Where was I going with that? Oh no, I had a thought and it's gone. Oh no.
I have a thought to tide you over.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a thought to tide you over. So I think that this is a really interesting study in how boys and girls are socialized differently, and including like around pain.
Yeah.
And that kind of. Here's what's up, Shio?
No, it froze.
You froze.
You froze.
Oh no!
Yep.
Shoot. Am I okay
Oh
now?
no, it's gonna get good.
You're good.
You're good.
We're
Go
Okay,
ahead.
on the edge of our seat.
So where did what was the
The
last thing you
difference
guys heard?
between how
Boys and girls.
Okay, so
boys and girls.
it's a difference between how boys and girls are socialized, especially regarding pain, right? So like with boys, it's like it's the whole boys will be boys thing where it's like I'm gonna go smash my face, and it's like they're almost like expected to be daredevils, and they're almost expected to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ride my bike off of the roof, and just like they're expected to do crazy stuff, and you know, pick up all these like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like they're supposed like girls are not encouraged to do that stuff. Like they're encouraged to experience pain in a very internal, quiet way. And it's so
right.
and both things are very destructive, just in different ways. Like one is definitely not better than the other. They both suck. Like they're awful. So
Preach.
I'm just saying, I could talk about gender stuff for like 5 hours, but my iPad is at like 26%. So, and I don't think like, no, but for real, like people really screw their kids up. Like they really do, where it's just like, it's like, oh no, don't ever talk about your pain. Or if you're a boy, get out your aggression in sports. Don't like, you know,
And
I
get
don't
into
know. I think
fights
what's
and say
right,
I'm
right,
brave, which he
right.
did. All of that stuff he was doing. You know?
Absolutely, 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 absolutely. And like, don't use your noggin too much. Like don't think about it too
Right,
much. Just like,
right.
you know. And I think the cool thing about Dougie is that he cries very unself-consciously to a certain degree. I mean, he definitely is just like, no, I'm not. But he allows himself to weep because his friend was like raped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's really amazing. Like, that's really kind of cool. I mean, that he's able to access that. And Dougie's way more emotionally available than it seems like any of the dudes in Kayleen's life could ever be.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Preach. God, that was good.
That was amazing. That was
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was
Thank you.
waiting for someone to bring up this point.
You could have done it.
It was like right in the beginning. And I was like, no, it's early.
I've had some wine. It's good.
No, but it is crazy. So the way that we kind of condition people, condition boys and girls to deal with pain. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, he lost an eye and he's still doing crazy stuff. And it kind of made me feel like, again, where was the nurse? Where were the parents? Like, I know they're not in the play, but but it's like, it's crazy. And then to go back to Kayleen dealing with the whole stomach thing and then saying I'm fat and like having mom die over a stomach issue is.
And her mother, I was going to say too, like her mom put that nonsense in her from the start because she was like, well, you think bad thoughts and that's why your stomach hurts. Like that is some Catholic, that is some Catholic nonsense, like right there. It's true. It's true. They go to a Catholic school, so it's canon. I'm not just projecting. Like,
well, and
so,
her mom leaves her at a young age, and you wonder if the stomach stuff is like a sign of like a depression that clearly Kayleen has for many reasons, be it things that have happened in her life and or just a chemical imbalance that is maybe hereditary from her mother. With other psychological issues. I mean, she says, I didn't know I was doing it when she tries to like cut out her own stomach. So it's almost as if she's blacked out drunk with alcoholism, which is touched on before, or on some kind of drugs, perhaps. Or if it's just like a manic schizophrenia, bipolar sort of thing that happens where she literally isn't there and tries to cut out her stomach, you know, if the cutting out of the stomach is literal as it's implied in the play, I think. In which case that stuff could be from her mother and her mom didn't know how to deal with it, so she left and then she ended up dying of the thing, you know.
I feel like all the cutting is a progression. Like all of her illnesses are a progression. Like she starts cutting from her thighs and eventually she's trying to cut her stomach. And I think it's along the lines of what you were saying, Anais, is that as women we are told to internalize our pain, you know. And I'm not a cutter, so I don't know what that's like, but my understanding of it, it's that you feel a need of release because you have all this pent up emotion with no actual healthy outlet because you don't have anyone in your life that you can talk to or will listen, or you feel that, you know, it's okay to say these things, that it's safe for you to say these things. And I feel like her cutting just became this progression where she has all of these other issues, you know, like the mom dying of her stomach issue and maybe some body dysmorphia type of problems as well. And she may be, you know, causing herself to throw up, and you know, that might be the bulimia, but like the cutting for me just became like a progression. Like I literally am bottling so much to the point that now I want to cut out my stomach because I'm constantly throwing up and I don't know how else to like call for help. So here we go. You know, like it just seemed like such a like really intense progression for me.
I wonder what release she's searching for, because didn't she say she thought having sex as well would give her a release? And I think a lot of times we also don't really teach kids how to deal with anything. So like you don't know how to release anything. You go and guys might go and do stupid stuff and like jump off roofs and I mean he lost his eye and he was still climbing poles in the rain. I think it's I don't know. It's crazy. What is the release that you're searching for? Is there some sort of purpose? And I think I've been there too. You're just searching for something and you just don't know what it is, so you go through a lot of stuff just to find something or feel something.
Yeah, coming off of that, I think for her, she feels so much all the time that she wants it to end. So she numbs it with cutting, the throwing up, drinking, cutting out her own stomach. She wants to end whatever is inside of her. And then in a way, Doug, it's like he wants to feel something because he's constantly trying. Not even trying. He's constantly getting injured. So I think in a way there's one wants less feeling and one wants more feeling, I guess. Because no matter how many times Doug gets hurt, he keeps doing it.
Right that out.
So I think it's a coping mechanism for both of them to feel. Whether it's more or less, it's about feeling. And I think when they're with each other, at times it evens out, but then at some point something happens to ramp it up. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't know.
Ask, do you think them being together, they find what they're looking for in each other? Or
well, I think in the end, I mean, at the end, it's literally like he can't feel anything below the waist. He can't, and then you have Kayleen, who's so open, so vulnerable, so emotional about what she did, and how willing she is to touch him, but he doesn't want to be touched. How willing she is, and it's that last scene is just so pivotal because it's almost a reversal of both of them, possibly. How one wants to feel and the other one doesn't or can't. Maybe.
Well, I think this was touched on earlier in the conversation about him constantly trying to understand what she's going through and be that person for her. When he cuts it, or when he gets her to cut his thighs, right after, immediately he says, "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen," and she's like, "I know," which is sad in and of itself. And then later, when he explains how he told the dad off and was like, "She's a perfect angel, like she's the best, and you don't even see it." He's like constantly trying, like a way of like all these injuries for him are a way of trying to measure up to be someone that he can prove can understand her pain. Like, oh, I've been in pain. I've seen this. It's different from your pain, but it's still pain. You know, I've done this, and, you know, I feel bad that I yelled at your dad and hoped he died alone, but also I don't feel bad that I yelled at your dad and hoped he died alone. You know, I feel bad because I got my ass kicked from that kid, but I don't feel bad because they were talking bad about you.
Yeah. Interesting. I agree with you, but it's just it's a very interesting play. How they're written.
Very gruesome. The eye thing threw me.
Weirdly enough, I didn't find it super gruesome. Even with the throw up and everything, I've seen grosser things. Let's be real.
I cannot stand the sound of people throwing up, and the both of you went all in for that scene. I was just sitting here like,
he should have read the play beforehand.
I was like, don't throw up, don't throw up, don't throw up.
Should have muted us when you knew it was coming.
it is funny because as we started reading, I remember we did do this in class with Regina. A few people did this, and I was like, I forgot how nasty it was. But very good, very good. Okay, so any other thoughts? What are some other thoughts or last thoughts on this play?
I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
High praises.
I'd be interested to see a staged production where you do see the injuries, because as Tyler says, it doesn't seem that gruesome. However, how much on stage would that in a way be distracting, depending on the amount of gore and vomit, where instead of listening to the subtext or what the characters are actually saying, you are distracted by like, ooh, that's nasty, instead of like the heart of the play and the context that they're living in.
I think if I staged this, I would, even though the title Gruesome is in there, I probably would keep it pretty simple. And maybe just they have one set of clothes and then everything is not mimed, but mimed. I don't know what else to say. Because I mean, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, the name all of a sudden, but like the thought of gruesome is it's gruesome to them. Maybe it's not gruesome to us in a way. So like maybe them selling the grossness or the pain or all of that will sell it for the audience. I don't know. That's a more
Literally says,
directorial.
touch my empty eye socket.
Yeah, I was like, what?
That's the most intimate thing I've ever heard.
It's pretty intimate.
Yeah,
It's very intimate, like on a gross level, but intimate nonetheless.
I've been like, oh, I gotta go.
One
But that's
time,
more of a
my
directorial.
best friend had like an eyelash in her eye and she couldn't get it, and she was like, "Can you get it for me?" And I was like, "This is the most. This is the closest we will ever be as friends."
You're not touching my eyeball.
My eye doctor tried to
He
take
did
out
it.
my contacts once, and I thought I was gonna kill him. I could not. No socket. You're not gonna.
I'm not gonna pop it out. Like, sorry.
Ah!
They're not. I said they are not going to. That's y'all thinking about that. I said it ain't gonna happen. That's y'all's fault.
No. I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to do. I actually would have loved it. I know we're all about plays, but I would have loved to see this as a movie. I don't know if it's ever been done, but I thought it'd be really, really cool to see as a movie, especially with the effects that we have now. I thought it could be a real.
I would do it if it was a movie. I'd want the same actors to play all ages. Period. Because I think that's
yeah.
The 8-year-olds, they're 8 and 30.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I would like to throw my hat in the ringer if it's ever made. I am the perfect age of nondescript. Can play child, can play 38.
Oh wait, hi, same. I mean, I can't play 38, but like, hi, same.
Oh man, I cannot.
Yeah, that's going on. I would have loved to see it as a movie.
I'm 6'3". I can sell it. It's fine. And I have the childlike innocence inside of me.
Just walk
a tall
8-year-old. It'll be fine.
I mean, I played a 10-year-old. Like the first show I did in New York, I was like a 10-year-old.
A tall 10-year-old.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Any other thoughts on this one, or?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think we thought this one out. We grossed out. All right. Well, this is the last one for the season. Thank you. We made it through.
Yay!
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. You guys were
Yeah, you guys are champions.
Yeah. All right. I will see you next season.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, folks.
Bye.